Dreading holiday parties? Learn how to turn them into career-boosting opportunities with these 3 conversation tips. We'll dive into the right conversation mindset, small talk tactics, then moving to big talk. If you're new here, hi, my name is Luki, and I'm a career coach and educator with over 10 years of experience helping professionals land their dream jobs, with over 15,000 followers on LinkedIn and a top career development voice. I currently work as a head of recruiting and talent management at PureFacts and have taught career development at the University of Toronto and Centennial College. On this channel, I share practical tips and insights to help you succeed in your job search and career journey. So if you're ready to level up your career, make sure to subscribe and stay up to date. And make sure you stay until the end to get all the tips to level up your conversation skills. Let's get started with the right conversation mindset. I know for me, the holidays became a stressful time.
Oh, poor baby.
With the expectations of chit-chat.
Again and again and again.
I started out as someone who was quite awkward in their conversation skills. I often didn't know what to say. I would tell myself that they would think I was boring because I would talk about just the weather and other small talk topics. I would very much be in my own head on how bad I was at conversations. Then I found a quote that I now live by. Never lose, win, or learn. I decided to take ownership of my conversation skills. I understood that having a conversation wasn't hard, it was just new. Like if you didn't know how to play the violin and someone asked you to play, well, how do you think you'd do? Having a conversation is a skill. And like any skill, if you haven't practiced or learned how to, why do you think you'd be any good? So I made a point to put some deliberate practice into my time. I wasn't planning to invest 10,000 hours to become world class, but I came across the 25-hour rule. The 10,000-hour rule would get me to being one of the best at conversations, but I didn't need to be a 10 out of 10. The 25-hour rule, however, would get me just better than most, so a 5 out of 10, which was good enough for me. I took some time every week and reflected on my social interactions. I asked myself, what did I do well? What could I do better next time? You can do it for the conversations you had in the previous weeks and months as well. Another helpful consideration was to reflect on and notice the other people that were good at conversations. I'd make some mental notes on what they said, topics that they spoke about, things that they did. Sure enough, after 25 hours, I was good enough. I still wasn't good, I was still pretty awkward and stressed, but I was good enough. And really that good enough allowed me to have the confidence to do a little bit more. I'd even read books, listen to podcasts, and watch videos on how to improve my conversation skills. I had a bit of an epiphany when I got to a get-together, and the host introduced me to someone. He and I went off and chatted for like 20 plus minutes. Then I went back to the host, and the gentleman mentioned to the host, well, I'm so glad you introduced me to Luki. He's one of the best conversationalists ever. And I'm definitely not. Well, definitely not at that point. So the gentleman left, and the host asked me, dude, you were gone for a while. What were you talking about? I said, I don't know, but I know that the third question I asked him was about boats. I really didn't say much, but I was curious and interested in the other person. And I find that everyone has their button topic, a topic that they're interested in and passionate about. And if you're able to find and push that button, they can go on and on and on and feel like you're the best conversationalist. That helped me realize that a good conversation is focused on the other person, not just about you. Before, I often focused on myself. I wanted to have amazing stories that I could tell to someone, but in reality, my life was pretty dull. Then I realized that I could focus the conversation on the other person. Conversations become much easier and much better when it's about the other person. Being interested instead of interesting was definitely a game changer. And if you're struggling with having conversations, write your challenges in the comments.
You love me! You really love me!
Another realization I had was the importance of small talk. I used to hate small talk. Talking about the weather, talking about the local sports team. It all sounded so superficial. Then I realized that small talk was necessary. Small talk helps you gauge whether the other person is receptive to having a conversation. Initially, I challenged myself to have a conversation with everybody. Then I soon realized that some people don't want to have a conversation. and forcing them to do so makes it bad for both of you. Opening with a bit of small talk can help you gauge whether the person is even open to a conversation. And if they are, then you can go a little bit further. That's when you decide whether you should continue the conversation. An acronym that was helpful for me when starting out with small talk was HEFE, which stands for hobbies. Most people like talking about the things that they're into. Entertainment, that could be music, movies, or shows. Food, many folks like talking about food. And environment, that could be the weather, and it could be about the place that's around you, or how you got here, or even travel. A good point is to pick an area of interest for you. If you don't like talking about the weather, then don't talk about the weather. You can also have a few conversation starters prepared. You can have a quick intro like your name and how you got connected to the host. You could say something like, "Hi, I'm Lukey. A friend introduced me to the host a few weeks ago and they invited me. How did you find out about the event?" Or if it's a corporate event, you can share about what you do and ask them where they're traveling from. You can ask, "What did they do earlier today?" Or whatever starter you feel comfortable with. Small talk is helpful for what is called breadth conversations. You go broad to find a common area of interest that you can connect on. Then, when you have one of those, you can go a bit deeper. Two very helpful phrases for me were, "And how about you?" as well as, "That's interesting. Tell me more about," whatever it is that you were talking about. This was super helpful with that boat guy that I mentioned before. Now, if you're an introvert, be sure to take breaks. Go get some food, go get a drink, go freshen up in the bathroom. Consider that a get-together might be a marathon, not a sprint. And if you're finding this video helpful, why not join the Focus Inspired Academy, which is your gym for career confidence. Go deeper into these concepts and get group coaching to help. Click the link on the description box below for a free 1-month trial for supporting the channel. At this point, you should be getting more and more comfortable with conversations.
Santa's coming to town! Santa! Oh my God!
Even if you started at a 1 out of 10, reflect and improve to get to a 2, then a 3, and so on. And as you get more comfortable with your conversation skills, you can move to directing the conversation. You can move towards big talk for deeper and more meaningful conversations. Start with deeper talk based on what the other person shares. If the other person seems a bit guarded and doesn't really share, consider sharing yourself. Instead of saying, "How was your weekend?" you can say, "How was your weekend? I was able to spend time with my kids. We watched a soccer anime, which they enjoyed, and we ended up going to a kid's birthday party at a local bowling alley." When you share first, they tend to share similar information. They can continue the conversation and pick an area that's interest to them. They can talk about kids, they can talk about anime or watching shows, about bowling, or any other activities. Practice sharing information to direct the conversation. You can consider a mix of personal and professional topics, and see which one your conversation partner picks up on more. And yes, even if you consider yourself not to be a great conversationalist, there are people out there that are actually worse than you. So if you're getting 1-word or 1-sentence answers, consider the baseball rule. 3 strikes and you're out. If you can't strike a conversation after 3 attempts to find a button topic, then perhaps move on to a different person.
Again and again and again.
Keep in mind that you can go back into the conversation and ask about previous topics. You can say something like, "Earlier, I thought I heard you mention," whatever it was. "Can you tell me more about," whatever it was. Continue practicing and improving your conversations throughout the event and in preparation for the next one. After all, to level up your conversation skills, all you need to do is have the right conversation mindset, get comfortable with small talk, and practice moving to big talk. What do you think about the suggestions in the video? Let me know what tips you recommend in the comments or if I missed anything. Don't forget to subscribe for more tips on jobs, careers, and life. And YouTube recommends that you check out these videos next. Until next time, be focused and stay inspired.